Viewers, good evening, and remember that you're going to be with us from almost dawn on the 3rd. Your single point destination, viewers, for the results. We will have them first for you, and they will be absolutely accurate. And we've always done this, so please do tune in. But viewers, for a few moments, let's turn to what happened yesterday and let's look at what could happen on the 3rd. The exit poll projections have been released and they've certainly created quite a buzz. While individual polls may be off the mark, when taken together, they've been reasonably helpful in giving us an idea of the prevailing mood among voters. And so, they've led us to believe that the Congress hopes of a clean sweep may be dashed as the party could find itself pipped to the post in the Hindi heartland states of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. At least that's what, when you look at all those polls, look at the bottom of your screens, you see them. The BJP in Madhya Pradesh set to get a majority. It might be a tight election. It might have tight margins, but that number is pretty decisive, 127. The Congress at 100 seats. Not a bad showing. But viewers, not enough to put it across the halfway. And remember, 17 years of anti-incumbency. In Rajasthan, if you go by that, the BJP will be home comfortably. The record in that state of kicking out the incumbent alternatively every 5 years will stay. Even in Chhattisgarh, where the Congress is very dominant, it will be given a run for its money courtesy a BJP late surge. And that is also clearly visible at the bottom of your screens, viewers. There you see it, the Chhattisgarh number. Tightish contest there. Congress at 50, BJP 38. But there are some margins there. Plus minus 3%. So if you really add those margins up, those very slim fights where the leads can change by a few thousand votes could come into play, and that could be a problem. But fortunately for the Congress, the exit polls tell us that the voters in Telangana are more charitably disposed towards it. And I've already taken you through some of those numbers. Madhya Pradesh, 230 seats up for grabs, 116 is the halfway. The BJP, 127. The Congress, 100. The BJP will take this number very happily. After all, as I told you, 18 years of anti-incumbency, burdening it there. In Rajasthan, the BJP was pretty much out of the race, and we'll go into those reasons. But the BJP, if it gets that 106, the Congress will be ruining a lost opportunity. Let me tell you that. In Chhattisgarh, viewers, which we'll pull up right now on your screens, there you see it, 50-38. It's going to be a tight one, 46 is the halfway mark. There's hardly any margin for error as far as the Congress is concerned. But here the Congress is breathing easy. 60 to win, it's above that. And I can tell you, viewers, that while the exit polls seem to suggest that 61 marginal, halfway, simple majority for the Congress, I think that if the voters in general have made up their minds to vote out the KCR government, then it's going to be a decisive mandate. The Congress can breathe easy. The BJP will be happy to split the honours 2-2 with the Congress. It's not even looking perhaps at 3-1 because the gap, remember, in Chhattisgarh is huge. So 2-2 in the Hindi heartland, it'll be very happy with the two big states. Remember, the party was on the ropes in Madhya Pradesh, where it has been in power for 17 years or so, and in Rajasthan it was rudderless, riven by factionalism. But a bold gambit by a coterie led by the BJP's most bankable face, Narendra Modi, and master strategist Amit Shah has helped save the day. The BJP High Command marched a platoon of BJP central ministers and MPs into the breach. In both these states, some have contested from choice seats and others have rallied the cadre. But the Congress is, of course, smarting at the predictions. Let's listen in to what the Congress has been saying about these exit polls today.
We have done our best. We will leave it to the people of the country. They need a change, and change will be from these 5 states. We all went there, we campaigned, we requested, we have done our best. They are all leaders to handle themselves.
कुछ एग्जिट पोल जानबूझकर इसीलिए बनाए गए हैं कि कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ता निराश हों और झूठा माहौल दिखाकर अधिकारियों पर दबाव बनाया जाए। हम सब जीत के लिए तैयार हैं, हम सब एकजुट हैं। आपको कोई भी समस्या लगती है तो आप सीधे मुझसे बात करें या पीसीसी में 3 दिसंबर को फोन करें, मैं पूरे समय में रहूंगा। 3 दिसंबर को कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार बन रही है।
हम 4 राज्यों में छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, तेलंगाना में अपने बूते पे सरकार बनाने जा रहा है। मिजोरम में हमारे बगैर कोई सरकार नहीं बनती, तो गठबंधन के साथ सरकार बनेगी। मैं इस मामले में बहुत अस्पष्ट हूं और ये मेरे अपने अनुभव पर आधारित है। जहां तक सवाल अगर आप करें कि ये जो आए हैं चुनाव के बाद के जो सर्वे, तो मैं सर्वे का सबसे बड़ा आपको उदाहरण देता हूं कि सर्वे का सर्वे कर लीजिए, कोई एक रिपोर्ट दूसरे से मिल ही नहीं खा रही।
भैया कितने एग्जिट पोल हुए? 7 हुए।
5 से 7 के बीच में
7 एग्जिट पोल में किसी का आंकड़े एक आध समानता है, लेकिन 2 दिन बाद वो सभी पोल जो है एक समान होंगे। तो एग्जिट पोल चलने दीजिए, लेकिन सरकार हमारी बनेगी, भारी बहुमत से बनेगी।
Of course, viewers, the verdict will be out on the 3rd and you will be with us for the numbers first up. But if the exit poll results hold, the Congress will have to answer some questions critically, those asked by its Indie alliance partners. First of those questions that the Indie bloc will ask of the Congress will be whether the Congress is actually in touch with the voter mood. And if so, why did it doubt the credibility of the Prime Minister's brand? Remember, viewers, it's the Prime Minister this time who got into the fray and asked for votes on his name. Second, whether Gandhi-led Congress is a liability for the alliance itself. The BJP, of course, will delight in rubbing salt in the wound by potentially asking who is the real Panauti. Because if you remember, Rahul Gandhi made this election towards the end about the Prime Minister and his suitability, calling him a Panauti for the country. Viewers, the point is, at the end of the day, and this is something that, remember viewers, you have to look at. Why brand Modi lifts the Bharatiya Janata Party? That's the fundamental question that we have come to, and we're going to analyze that on hard facts. Remember, first things first, Narendra Modi came out and said, you don't have to remember any candidates, simply remember the Lotus. I have come to you with the Lotus. Vote for Lotus is a vote for Modi. Not one chief ministerial face projected in any of the Hindi heartland states, and of course in Telangana, viewers, there was none to project in any case, because the party there is still building into an entity that can actually make an impact, but it's growing fast. But viewers, there are other reasons. The Congress may not accept it, but the Vikas plank and the numbers are right there. We have today the fastest growing economy, 7.2% is the projected GDP. And viewers, remember, in just Q2, we've had numbers that even exceeded the RBI's estimates. India is growing very quickly. Even around the world, viewers, we are a bright spot. And that is being said increasingly. So you've had fast growth, except for 1 year before the COVID years, and of course the Black Swan event, which was COVID. But after that, we've come out smartly, and one of the reasons is not just because of Vikas, but also the Vishwas. The Vishwas, the Prime Minister says, count on me to save your lives, and he delivered. The fastest COVID vaccination program in the history of the world. 100 crore vaccines were administered. 200 crores also passed very quickly. 0 to 200 crore vaccine in just 18 months. And then, of course, viewers, there has been a focus, unrelenting almost, on women voters. And women voters have come in larger numbers. And because they are aligned very closely to the BJP, it is changing the nature of politics in this country. And there are many promises to women voters by the Prime Minister. His guarantees seem to be accepted liberally by the women Labhartis of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Women's reservations bill cleared after Parliament limbo for 27 years, remember. Viewers, look at that huge number on your screens. So many connections via Ujjwala Yojana, direct benefit to women who were relieved of the drudgery of kitchen work. 50 crore beneficiaries of Jan Dhan Yojana, out of that 56% are women. Women are getting money in their accounts. Rural sanitation coverage from 39% in 2014 to 100% in 2019. That's very critical for women, their self-respect, and of course, viewers, for women health. Then there are female entrepreneurs, the majority beneficiaries of PM Mudra Yojana. PM Modi also, of course, viewers, remember, is seen as an individual who has risen above caste. Why? Because he is seen as a Hindu Hriday Samrat. And that appeal, viewers, cuts across castes. And that is the reason why the Congress and other opposition parties are talking about the caste census in a hope to sort of dent that consolidated vote bank, the Hindu vote bank, as they say, the BJP relies on. And you can see the number of visits that the Prime Minister has personally made to all these temples. It would have been lovely to actually show those visuals, but we perhaps have those visuals which will play out in just a few moments in sequence. But there you see them, viewers, several temple visits. And remember, even most importantly, the inauguration of the Murti Stapna that will happen in Ayodhya was announced in the run-up to this election. January 22nd is that, of course, date. But viewers, the one thing that will really worry the Congress if it doesn't win in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, and it's a tight race in Chhattisgarh, is that in the Hindi heartland, you're going to have the BJP unshakable. And that, viewers, is problematic all around for any political party looking to win this election, because the numbers again speak for themselves. The conversion ratios, the strike rate of the BJP is very high in the Hindi heartland, and I'm going to project those numbers. There you can see it's 66% in 2014, rising 69, viewers, 69%. And in the Hindi heartland itself, there are about 130 seats, which the BJP does phenomenally well in. So we're going to give you those breakup of just the Hindi heartland. Those numbers might not be reflective of the exact number that the BJP contests in the Hindi heartland. That strike rate is almost up to about 90%. But nonetheless, let's open this up, because questions are a-begging and they have to be asked. And the fundamental one, viewers, which is brought to you by Motorola tonight, is the basic underlying question. Has the Panauti PM Raga flopped? Is it doomed to flop on the 3rd of December? And what will be the consequences of that? Let's open this up. I want to first begin with Tehseen Poonawalla, who represents the Congress point of view, and also bring in Amit Malviya straight after. Tehseen Poonawalla, this is an election where the Prime Minister, and let's, at least in the Hindi heartland, let's not make any bones about it, the Prime Minister has sought votes on his name, number one. Number two, he's put himself center first on the ticket. And most importantly, the Congress has made this election about him. So they played to his strengths. If the Congress doesn't do well, as the exit polls seem to be suggesting in at least two of the prominent Hindi heartland states, would you say that brand Modi is reigning supreme? The Congress has not read the sentiment on the ground, and therefore, viewers, does not even know what to respond to.
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And the onset, I want to congratulate you. I just saw the ratings, Modi and India 2024 and the Battle for Bharat, your book. It's doing phenomenally well. So many congratulations on your book. I concede to the limited point that you are saying, and I do agree, and I've always said this, that Prime Minister Modi, without doubt, is the tallest leader in our country. So yes, the Prime Minister brings in certain amount of an X factor. He brings in certain amount of additional votes in the elections for the BJP. He is the best vote getter for the BJP. No two ways about it. But that's where it ends. I am sticking my neck out and I'm telling you, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, Congress is winning, apart from it being a tsunami for the Congress in Telangana. Sorry about that. The Congress is winning Madhya Pradesh, and come 3rd December, post 3rd December, Kamal Nath ji will take oath as Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Now, you can dissect this any way you want, but because we are discussing the Honorable Prime Minister, let me just give you a very simplistic answer, though it's more complex than it. The people of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Telangana knew that the Prime Minister will not give up his seat of being the Prime Minister and become the Chief Minister of these states. So the fact is that the people have gone in for a better choice. In Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, it's the Congress. They've repeated the Congress government in Chhattisgarh. They're going to get in Kamal Nath ji as Chief Minister in Madhya Pradesh, and Telangana is going to be a Congress wave. Even in the northeastern state, the Congress is forming the government.
Why do you believe,
BJP
Mr. Poonawalla, then that's not being reflected by these exit polls? And while I understand that you may have a quibble with one or two, the general trend is never wrong. Even in, viewers, if you remember, I'll take you back in time. In Bengal, when it appeared, and Amit Malviya is there because, you know, his party was very confident that it would sweep the elections in Bengal. It didn't happen in most opinion polls, barring a few. Barring a few, viewers, gave us that overall trend that the TMC is going to come back. Now, everyone got the margin wrong. That's different. But the fact is, the general trend line was there for everyone to see. So, Tehsil Pura, let's stick with what we know. I can't talk about what we don't know, which is a third. Even Kamal Nath probably doesn't know. He probably has a gut instinct. He's probably done a little bit of maths. But I'm asking you, if these numbers hold, let's accept these as what we might see on the third. If these numbers hold, Panauti Jibe at the Prime Minister suggesting that he is bad as an omen for this country, etc. Do you think that particular sentiment expressed by the Congress and its chief campaigner, Rahul Gandhi, was completely out of whack? He doesn't know what is happening in his country.
I cannot be more clear, and I'm looking at you in the eye and I'm telling you, the numbers for Madhya Pradesh will not hold. There is no question of a hypothesis in it, because Madhya Pradesh is a Congress state. The way the reasons the numbers looking the way it is because of the
Viewers,
two outliner polls that give a big number to the BJP.
There you go.
But
the point is, had these numbers, I'll tell you, had these numbers, no, hang on, this is the same person who will say that the Telangana numbers are spot on.
Had an Adam's apple.
That the Chhattisgarh number is spot on.
I am telling you, I don't agree with her.
But the two others are not spot on. I mean, come on, let's not cherry pick here. The fact is, I'm not saying that...
That's not true. Can I? No, I...
Okay, so we don't want to discuss.
Rahul,
you want to be evasive.
I'm not saying that. Hold on. I am not even agreeing with the Telangana numbers. I am saying the Telangana numbers of 65 is far too less. The Congress is crossing 72 in Telangana.
Okay.
As so far as what I'm agreeing with, I'm saying Rajasthan BJP as an edge. So I'm not being unreasonable. But I know Madhya Pradesh, I know Telangana, I know Chhattisgarh, and it is a Congress government in these three states. Period.
Okay. So viewers, Tehsil Poonawalla has taken the easy option tonight. And you are witness to it.
How is it easy?
He is taking a complete rain check on the question I'm asking by suggesting that, hey, we're not even going to have the need to answer those questions because your exit polls are all wrong. That's it. He shut the debate because, viewers, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing when the Congress is going to be asked questions by its alliance partners. They'll say, who's the real Panauti? Will you take us down with you? It happened in Bihar. I want to bring in Amit Malviya. Amit Malviya, for a moment, even if it's 2-2 in the Hindi heartland, you may think that it might be 3-1 or it might even be 4-0. But in case it is 2-1 in the Hindi heartland, you will think of this as a very creditable showing. 18 years in power in Madhya Pradesh, obviously up against a tall leader in Rajasthan, and in Chhattisgarh the disparity huge. So even if you run that race tight, you say it's a great job, moral victory. So Amit Malviya, I want to ask you, What will it come down to? Who will take credit for it? What does it mean from a BJP perspective?
Well, Rahul, thank you so much for having me on the show. Let me just go one state at a time. Madhya Pradesh, we've been in power for 20 years. 18 years, Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been the Chief Minister. You surely would agree that it is a very long period for the BJP to be in the reckoning to come back to power. And I'm just going to go by the average number of seats projected by the poll of poll, which is about 127. I'm not even going to look at the projections that claim that we could be around 150 or thereabouts. I am saying that directionally these exit polls for Madhya Pradesh are absolutely spot on. The number of seats is very, very difficult to predict because of the longevity of the organization and of course the government in the state. The thing that stands between the BJP and the Congress's attempt to come back to power is the several welfare programs run by the Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government in Madhya Pradesh. Also, Madhya Pradesh's entire Rezendatar, the society, the ground there is saffron, and that's why the BJP has been in power for as long as it has been. Come to Rajasthan. There is absolutely no question of the BJP not winning Rajasthan, because for 4.5 years Ashok Gehlot did not give a semblance of governance. Law and order was the biggest casualty. The crime against Dalit and women were at the peak. In fact, the per lakh number of rape for women was highest in Rajasthan. The inflation was the highest in Rajasthan. Crime against Dalits was rampant in Rajasthan. Law and order had collapsed. There were several cities of Rajasthan, including Jaipur, which had their internet suspended for months on stretch. And this is true of Jaipur, the capital city. That is how bad the situation there was. What Ashok Gehlot tried doing in the last 6 months is put up a brave fight, push a lot of advertisement, try and put in motion a lot of welfare programs. But you see, governance is not a 6-month capsule. It's an ongoing process, and if governments fail to deliver for majority of their tenure, they're not going to be elected back by simply the gimmicks that they do in the last 6 months. And therefore, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that the BJP will win Rajasthan comfortably. Come to Chhattisgarh. This is a very fascinating story here. You said in your opening comment, late surge of the BJP, and that to me is really what is going to keep us on the tenterhooks on the 3rd of December. I think most pollsters are prisoners of their own bias, where they were not willing to give the BJP any chance 2 months before the election. And the way they have turned out is because most people misread the silence of the people of Chhattisgarh. We've been in power in Chhattisgarh for 15 years. We know how silent the people there are. They just go and cast their vote and the mandate follows. The BJP had about 0.5% lead over the Congress in the 15 years that we were in power. The difference between BJP and Congress, frankly, in terms of vote share is not going to be too much. It's going to be in the range of 1%. But I am quite certain that this late surge that you spoke about is going to upset Congress's apple cart in Chhattisgarh. Besides, there was a lot of anger against Bhupesh Baghel. The liquor scam has destroyed several poor families in
so net what you're saying is
the farmers were unhappy.
That the Congress is not a party of governance.
Rahul,
that's what you're saying.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Precisely. And the rural distress, the corruption, the basic hygiene factor that comes with any government in office is completely missing in Chhattisgarh, and you're going to see that in the result. And I can tell you the difference between the two parties, the two principal parties, is going to be a very few seats, with the BJP having an edge.
Okay.
Let's not forget,
let's
the
see what
BSP,
happens.
the Gondwana
But
party,
basically
the
you're
Ajit
saying
Congress are also going to be players.
No vision, cynicism. You can't rely on cynicism. Dr. Ranganathan, in India today, People don't have time for cynicism. They want a vision. You can't run elections on trying to divide people by saying jitni abadi utna haq, caste censuses, handouts, and then do the exact opposite, especially when you talk about women's reservation by giving hardly any tickets to women. So it's all optics, it's all packaging, it's all symbolism. And then you go around talking about, Panautis and Modanis and all sorts of people. People want to know, what can you do when you're in power? Was that message lacking? If these numbers hold, would that be a conclusion to draw?
Good evening, Rahul. Very interesting, and good evening, first of all, to my fellow panelists. I have two brief points to make, and both of them, I dare say, emanate from the poll of polls. You would remember, Rahul, back in our school days, the class, majority of the students in the class would be like me and Dr. Raman, twitchy little nerds. But there would be a few exceptions like you and Tehseen, who would party all night and who would get all the XX, and who would score well in the exams. You guys were the outliers. And what happened was you ruined the reputation of the entire class. So like that, the poll of polls was going very well. Everything was neck and neck. Suddenly these two guys come along that give massive majority to BJP. And as a result, the poll of polls is now skewed. So it's like, one-sided thing now. Be that as it may, I want to stick to, what you said about Modi having made it as, mere dam pe sab hua, like, he beat his chest also in the parliament, ek akela. And to a very large extent, actually on the ground, it's proven, at least the data shows it to be very true, because, in all the BJP ruled states, whenever Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah have gone for campaigning, they've always talked about this phrase. You would know this and everyone knows it. Amit also would know this, double engine sarkar. This phrase comes in their speeches at least 10 to 12 times. In MP, when they were canvassing, somehow this phrase was conspicuous by its absence. And the reason for that is, if you look at if BJP is going to, win MP, and there's a very good chance that it is, despite the skewing of the poll of polls, it's going to win because the Modi engine has pulled not only the train, but also the kind of laggard, almost defunct Shivraj Mamaji engine at the back of the train. And if you look at the data, 80 million population of Madhya Pradesh, an astonishing 25 million are now Ayushman Bharat card holders. You talk about 2% women voters, an astonishing 8 million now have Ujjwala. An astonishing 8 million toilets have been made in Madhya Pradesh, one of the largest in the whole country. You talk of COVID. It's astonishing 6 crore MP Madhya Pradeshians were vaccinated before any other state, 100% vaccination of Madhya Pradesh. You look at the ration that was given free during the COVID, and it was Pradhan Mantri who said, I'm going to extend free ration for another 5 years. So it is that Modi engine that is pulling BJP in Madhya Pradesh. There is no two bones about it. Now let me very quickly come to Telangana. And here what Tehseen says, I'm afraid I disagree. Because let's be very honest, in India, largely elections are won on populism and freebies. If you look at Telangana, it holds the crown of populism and freebies. The state is right now under debt of 6 lakh crores. That is, every Telanganan resident has a debt of 1.7 lakhs. It is astonishing when you talk about blaming Kejriwal and Punjab at debt of 2.5 lakh crores. Telangana is almost 2.5 times that. Now the question is, are the freebies and the tremendous welfareism done by the BRS, is it going to pull BRS? If it does, then that is normalcy. If it doesn't, we really have to go back to the drawing board and see what has happened to Indian voters. Is he finally ready to look beyond the freebie culture? That is the 2 points that I'd like to make.
Well, I mean, that depends on how you define a freebie. As you know, Dr. Ranganathan, the fisc is also stretched at the center because there are quite a few schemes that are doled out, and some of them could easily pass off for a freebie. And we've done that sort of assessment here ourselves, in fact, on a show. I think perhaps it was a few days back. But I want to bring you in, Dr. Raman. Let's talk about issues here. In case these numbers hold, you have a problem, a serious problem, and it's a Modi-sized problem, so it's not easy to fill if you're the opposition. You have nobody to challenge Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi asks for votes in his name seemingly, if you go by the exit polls in the Hindi heartland where the BJP stands like an apex, T-Rex predator, it's going to be consolidating. You've got a problem. The opposition must ask itself, cynical cast card, pulling it out of your top pocket, suddenly flashing it like a bribe to a voter. That's politics, 1.0. We saw that a few decades back.
Yeah.
And where are those
Rahul,
parties today? That Mandal party, that whole brigade, you tell me. Where are they today?
Okay. Rahul, first of all, I would advise waiting till the results are out, because the reason I say that is another channel is actually debating about the composition of the Shivraj Singh Chauhan ministry and whether the MPs who win the election will be accommodated.
No, that's why we have sensible people like you, Dr. Ranganath, Dr. Raman on our channel.
Okay.
I didn't call those people.
Let me just get to the cut to the chase. If Congress loses Madhya Pradesh, irrespective of what happens in Rajasthan, because Rajasthan is a 5-year rotation government, so irrespective of what happens in Rajasthan, if the Congress loses Madhya Pradesh, it will be a setback. There is no doubt about it. Chhattisgarh and Telangana at this point look like a done deal for the Congress. So if they do win Madhya Pradesh and it is 3-1, then I see that as pretty significant, because they are adding a important southern state in Telangana. They are swapping, for all practical purposes, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, which means that they are not actually down in terms of numbers, and they would actually be up if they are retaining Chhattisgarh as well. So I would view which way Madhya Pradesh goes, assuming that the BJP wins Rajasthan, and that again is by no means a certainty, because you have the same outlier poll in Madhya Pradesh predicting being an outlier poll in Rajasthan on the other way, predicting a win for the Congress. So if the Congress holds Rajasthan, and that would be a phenomenal achievement. We don't know if that will happen. I'm not terribly sure that will happen. But Madhya Pradesh is really, to me, going to be the key. If the BJP wins Madhya Pradesh big, I don't think that this dramatically changes anything for 24, for the simple reason these are places where the BJP already did phenomenally well in 2019.
But let me tell you, one second, Dr. Raman, some breaking news coming in, and Pallavi is with us to break this story. Congress has approached the Election Commission in Madhya Pradesh, says BJP is trying to influence counting and demands more security. Pallavi Ghosh, this seems like a sign of jitters, if anything else. We've had already, you've broken another story in the earlier part of the day where you talked about a confabulation about perhaps shepherding all the legislators, and now this.
Well, now there's no denying a fact that there is an apprehension within the Congress party and a little nervousness, of course. I would say quite a substantial amount of nervousness, especially after the exit poll results have come out. They may be very gung-ho, they may be talking strongly about the fact that we don't believe in these exit poll results because we're confident we're going to come back to power, but there have been a series of meetings. And after a press conference and after a series of meetings, they've approached the State Election Commission and they said that we suspect that the BJP is going to try and influence the counting procedure, and also that's the reason why we need extra security. Now, if you remember very quickly in the past, every time the Congress party has raised question marks over the EVMs, Digvijay Singh leading it, this counter criticism has come in on the Congress that when you win elections, why don't you find a problem with the whole idea of EVM machines? Why is it when you're losing elections that you start raising question marks over EVMs and the counting procedure goes? We all know that the counting procedure is very meticulous, it's very transparent. There are representatives from all political parties who are expected to be inside the booth. So it's not that there can be any kind of arm twisting or trying to influence the counting procedure.
Well, this thanks, Pallavi. This is actually quite an insight into the way the Congress is thinking right now. And I think that, Dr. Raman, you were talking about the Congress perhaps, ending up conceding space in Madhya Pradesh, and that would be consequential.
That is definitely a setback.
That would be consequential. No and I want to ask you, let me ask Tehseen Poonawala, I was busy looking at his phone because he has great faith in, Twitter and, whatever else it is, but not in our exit polls that are on TV. the good old-fashioned TV. So I want to ask you, Tehseen, as a fellow party boy, I want to ask you a simple question, and this is an important one. Who carries the can? If, Rajasthan and, Madhya Pradesh go and Chhattisgarh is down to the wire, who carries the can? Will it be Rahul Gandhi, or it will be collective responsibility and poor Kamal Nath and Mr. Gehlot will be put to pasture? They don't want to certainly go and serve as Congress presidents, which would be the right job for them. Anyone who fails and is aged goes and becomes president these days, as Mr. Tharoor says. But I want to ask you.
Let me reverse this and ask you, when the BJP loses, will you have the guts to put up Mr. Modi ji's face? Because Mr. Modi didn't go in with a chief minister candidate. It was called Modi ki guarantees. I find this astounding. Should the Congress lose an election, Rahul Gandhi is at fault. But should the Congress win an election, it is because of regional leadership. Should the BJP lose an election, it is because, Rahul, allow me to finish. Should the BJP lose an election, it is because everyone from Mr. Nadda to the Chief Minister. But should they win an election, it is because of Modi magic. Why does it work like that? Okay. Why is it magical for the BJP but criminal for the Congress? I am telling you that the Congress will win Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Telangana. Okay. And there are a number of factors. But one important factor is Rahul Gandhi and Bharat Jodo Yatra. In Telangana, in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, the Yatra spent considerable of time, and it is Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi factor that has now turned the tide in favor of the Congress. But now I'm asking you, when the BJP loses Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and they're going to lose in Telangana, will Prime Minister Modi be blamed or will he not be blamed?
I find it funny, two things. One second, I find it funny. Both Dr. Sumansi Raman and Tehseen Poonawalla were in the studio with me in a previous avatar during the Karnataka elections, where I asked these precise questions to the BJP leadership that got a little testy with me in front of you. You guys were there. Number one. Number two, I've written a whole book. I've written a whole book being cynical about politics of different kinds, including questioning the BJP. And I have to tell you that Amit Malviya has been a true friend and has read the book from cover to cover and tweeted about it today. So even he will testify to my objectivity. So I have doubts about yours, party boy friend, but I don't have any doubts about myself asking the right questions. So Amit Malviya, let me academically ask you this question. Mr. Modi inserts himself into this campaign above and beyond any other go vote for local person. He goes back even on his shibboleth, which is local, vocal for local, and he says, no ji, I am coming from outside, vote for me. In case it doesn't work out, will you concede that perhaps the over-dependence on Modi and the Modi magic is beginning to wane, fray?
Well, Rahul, before I can get to the Modi magic question, a very quick intervention on Telangana. I think a lot of people are giving the Congress a clean sweep in Telangana, but I would tend to, bring in a bit of caution here, because Telangana is one state where most pollsters have got the exit polls wrong. Even the last time, they did not anticipate that the BRS would win as many seats as they did. The other big problem in Telangana is that the Congress is not a party that has a statewide organization. They are a party of oligarchs, so they have leaders in certain pockets who are influential, and beyond that they have nothing. Similarly, the BJP, which is expanding in the state of Telangana, has its strong pockets and could register a big strike rate in those areas. So we really don't know whether the Congress will be in a position to upseat the BRS, although I concede that the vote this time in Telangana is to oust the BRS in KCR as the Chief Minister. But should that not happen, and you have a situation where BRS ends up as the single largest party but short of the halfway mark and still does not get to the halfway mark with AIMIM, and the Congress is the second in lead, we'll have a very interesting situation in Telangana. Coming to your question on the Modi magic, Rahul Gandhi, and under his leadership, the Congress must have lost now about 55, 56 elections. I'm glad nobody talks about Rahul magic or the lack of it. But this question is often asked in the BJP's context and in Mr. Modi's context. Let me be very clear. Mr. Modi is the tallest leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He is the Prime Minister of the country, and he has massive following across the country. We fight every election under his leadership because at the end of the day, the central government and our respective state governments, wherever we are present, provide a great deal of impetus to the governance in those states. So you can never actually take Mr. Modi out of the equation, and he's not shy of the eventual results because he's campaigned as ferociously in Madhya Pradesh, a state that we are going to win, similarly in Rajasthan, as he has done in Telangana. And clearly nobody is giving the BJP a chance in Telangana, but Mr. Modi was there on ground and he addressed several rallies.
Okay.
And our top leadership, from the Home Minister to the party president, everybody was campaigning.
Okay, I just want to ask.
Clearly,
okay,
Mr.
so
Modi
let me just give you some facts here. Let me, one second.
Rahul,
Let me give you some facts. One second, gentlemen, please, gentlemen.
Rahul.
Gentlemen, 1 second, please.
Just 1 second.
1 second, the party is beginning. Relax. 1 minute. The point is, very quickly, just to carry on the metaphor and the fun, just very quickly, viewers, there have been, and let me tell you this, there have been 52 elections since 2014. At one side, you have had the Prime Minister, and on the other side, you have had continuously the Prime Minister for 9 years, and on the other side, you have had Rahul Gandhi. And the strike rate is 52% for one and 8% for the other. Now, if this was a cricket match, viewers, and we were looking at winning percentages, you know which captain would lose his job. So think about those figures, ballpark figures. I might have got 1 or 2% here or there wrong, plus minus 3. But I just want to ask all four of you.
The numbers are not correct.
Of course they are correct. One second, one second, please. No, 1 second. I'm running out of time and I have to go into the next debate. Gentlemen, please
allow me.
I'm asking all of you now.
These numbers are not correct.
Okay, fine, not correct, fine.
No,
I'll accept
52
it.
and 8 is incorrect, Rahul.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Let me very quickly.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, let me very quickly, sir, just 1 second, ask each one of you to predict what's going to happen in 48 hours. I want to begin with Dr. Ranganathan. What's the score? Dr. Ranganathan.
So BJP is going to win Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Congress is going to win Chhattisgarh. And we have not talked about Mizoram at all. The MNF is going to win Mizoram. And BRS is going to win Telangana.
Okay, so 2-1-1. Dr. Raman.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Congress for Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Telangana. And ZPM is looking good in Mizoram according to the exit polls, but again, I don't know, I haven't studied the state to comment on it. And I think Rajasthan will go down to the wire, but anything going down to the wire, the BJP can nick it.
3-1-1.
Even,
okay.
Not even going down to the wire,
Mr. Malviya.
Mr.
Malviya, what's the score?
Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, clean mandates to the BJP. Chhattisgarh, a dead heat. BJP could have an edge. Mizoram will go to the NDA. Telangana will probably have TRS in the lead, with Congress finishing second, but not enough to get to the halfway mark. So we'll have to wait on third to see which way the numbers go.
Okay, so two new party boys, Mr. Malviya and Dr. Ranganathan, going against the poll direction in Telangana. Okay. Very quickly, Tehseen Poonawalla. Very quickly, please.
They don't want their alliance partner to...
Okay,
whatever.
It'll be interesting because I'll tell you one thing. If it's a hung house in Telangana, imagine a hung house in Telangana and the BJP has the chance to play kingmaker. Imagine you have AIMM with the BRS. Will you get rid of the AIMM and pick up only the BRS? Mr. Malviya, that will test Hindutva. It will test your plank. Okay.
The entire B team can come together.
Could be. Very quickly, Tehseen Poonawalla, very quickly, please. I need to wrap. Yes.
What NDA in Mizoram, the Chief Minister refused to share dais with the Honorable Prime Minister, the alliance partner.
Okay.
Mizoram is a Congress-led government. Congress will form the government. Telangana is a Congress tsunami. Madhya Pradesh is Kamal Nath. Chhattisgarh is Congress. Rajasthan goes to the BJP.
Okay. We've heard it, viewers. Let's see if these gentlemen get it right. We'll take a short break. But coming up, viewers, it's a story that we must now begin to examine very critically and ask for a law to prevent unchecked vigilantism, especially that is fueled by religious rage. We come out to that. Don't go away.